Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's 10 o'clock, so I guess we're into midnight. We're into late night meanderings. Sorry about that. Well, one of the things that I had to do before I left America to live here was to let go of stuff. And it really is something that you have to confront if you're going to do any traveling at all. Because most experienced travelers know that the best way to travel is with something that you can carry on and carry off and not get involved in luggage. And it's very difficult, as anybody knows that's moved from a big house to a small house or a big house to an apartment. You'll know that letting go of stuff is, oh gosh, it's like removing layers of skin, isn't it? Let me just read you from my my wonderful treasure book, which I've recently found. The things you own end up owning you. And that was Chuck Palahniuk, I think. So, what's the next one that really is a good one too? It says, in order to change skins, evolve into new cycles, I feel one has to learn to discard. If one changes internally, one should not continue to live with the same objects. They reflect one's mind and psyche of yesterday. I throw away what has no dynamic living use. And that's another name that I can hardly pronounce, Anais Nin. So, good one. So what did I have to give up? I gave up everything. I just ended up with a suitcase and a bag. And that was it. How did I do that? Well, with great difficulty. But I've since found that there is very little that I need. I don't need a walk-in closet. I don't need thousands of square feet to live in. I don't need these things. And rather than it being one of a feeling of deprivation, it actually is a feeling of being set free, because I could lose almost everything. I think I have two possessions. I have a flashlight that somebody gave me that he described me as one of his best friends, and that made the item that he gave me important. And somebody that I respected and liked but never met was John in Manila, and he sent me a Swiss Army knife, a colourful patterned Swiss Army knife, which I carry with me all the time. Thank you, John. Apart from that, there's very little that I actually must have. I gave up most of the things that I treasured. I used to collect antiques, not expensive antiques, just antiques which I particularly liked. I liked tools. I actually drove quite a number of miles to buy a huge 6-foot, 7-foot long saw, which was an old antique. And I cleaned it up and I hung it on the wall, and I really enjoyed that. And I used to do things like that, and these were things which had a unique practical use. So tools especially. I really enjoyed having those tools. So letting those things go was difficult, but it's not so difficult that you can't do it. Now, what is another way of letting go? Well, another way of letting go is of hard and fast opinions about how life is lived. And I've dealt with aspects of this in other videos, but essentially the way that you're living your life, usually at any given moment, is based on preconceived opinions and hard-held viewpoints. And to be able to get away from those viewpoints, they are the voices in your head that you can easily, if you listen, you can easily identify them as various people in your life. Your mom, your dad, your Uncle Harry, you get my point, your brother, your sister, your teacher, your last 5 employers, and all of these people have a voice in your head if you allow them head space. And that's where it comes in about letting go. Now here's an interesting thing about why, this is only my viewpoint of course, why the abuser, why the abused becomes the abuser. When you are abused, you are in a lot of cases overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed, you're aggressively put in a place where you cannot move. That's what you feel. If somebody physically holds you down, you're powerless. That's why you have cases like rape. The person is completely overwhelmed, and when you're in a state of overwhelm, then the person that is overwhelming you becomes a particular impactful person in your life. And very often you may unknowingly adopt that behavior because it worked. Well, it overpowered you, didn't it? And if something overpowered you, then it must be pretty goddamned powerful. So, children who were overwhelmed and abused as children grow up to be the abuser because they know only too well of the power that an abuser has over others. And so that's why you get this chain of behavior continuing on and on. And it's something which you must be aware of. Now obviously in the case of rape and being beaten up, I don't know, being almost beaten to death, which some people suffer that, that's the extreme. But then there's others. What about the kid that sat next to you at school that was bigger than you, or in your mind older than you? I remember when I was afraid of somebody when I was a little kid because he was older than me. My dad says, "Why didn't you hit him back?" I said, "Dad, he's older than me." And my dad said, what the heck has that got to do with anything? And it made me realize, well, actually it doesn't have anything to do with it. Why did I think that? But we have this idea, and we have these things that we go along with, and we accept the moment of overpowering, of overwhelm, and in that moment we can adopt the false identity of that person who is doing the overwhelm and find ourselves acting like that to others. So that's kind of a meandering talk, isn't it? Let's face it. But we started off really talking about how we need to let go, and it's not just about, my point was that it's not just about letting go of material goods. It's not just about that. It's about letting go of a lot of things which are shaping our lives in a way which, if we really sit down and look at it, we don't want to be that way. So we need to change those viewpoints, look at the way that they really are and how they're impacting our life, and then we can start changing them. They're in a lot of ways, in a lot of beliefs, and in a lot of methods of psychological behavior and change, they're called limiting beliefs, and they are beliefs which you falsely hold as true, where actually they're not true. They were held in place by a moment of overwhelm. Okay, well, that's my bit for tonight. Thanks for watching. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.